Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today is going to be a little bit of a short video because there's not a whole lot of information about the species we are going to discuss, but I want to go ahead and add my own little bit of a lore ideas so that maybe the creator will see it and be like, yeah, you know, maybe we should do something like that. So I'm going to give up some little bit of lore that I think can be added to it to improve it and everything like that. But for the most part, we're going to talk about the facts, then I'm going to give my opinions, we're going to kind of mix things in there and everything like that. So I hope you enjoy, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe and everything like that, because that's how you get access to more of these species and death videos. And in fact, if you want me to go in depth on your species, if you want me to go in depth on a different species or something like that, go ahead and comment them below. I will add them to the list and we will continue from there. So today we're going to be talking about the Carerobos. The Carerobos are a species in Ponytown. They're a robotic community, if you may or may not have been able to guess by the name. They are robotic. The members are programmed to spread love, kindness, and well-being to other users of Ponytown. They come in many different styles and forms and with a wide spectrum of colors. Carerobos originate from many places on Earth, ranging from factories to abandoned parks, or from the smallest corners of the world to practically nowhere, like literally just in the middle of nowhere. Every single Carerobo requires a different fuel to function, or sort of like there's different variants of like what fuel a Carerobo might need. So each Carerobo is unique in that way. Almost no two of them are the same, and almost none of them are built / programmed to be the same. They all have different personalities programmed into them. So right now I want to take a break from the information and everything like that to kind of give my thoughts and a little bit of added lore to this. Right now we have no idea where they came from. All we know is that you can find them in different factories, abandoned parks, etc., etc. What I want to know is who created them? Why did they create them? I assume they created them to spread that love, joy, and kindness and everything like that. But who did this? And what was their ultimate goal for doing this? Was it some kind of evil plan? Was it a normal plan of just being like, hey, let's do this to combat this, or let's do this just because? There's not a whole lot of information on that. We just know that they were programmed by someone or something to spread this love and kindness. And we know that they were reprogrammed. It says that they were built and reprogrammed with different personalities and purposes. So who's reprogramming them? What is going into that? Please, in my opinion, I think that's where you need to put your focus in when it comes to the lore and everything like that. I think they need to just address who these programmers are, create these like small group of programmers, like 1 to 2 to 4, something like that. Have them, you know, find these things, make it like a whole thing where they have to hunt down these different Carerobos that are just like left behind in abandoned parks and factories and stuff like that, collect them, reprogram them, repair them, do whatever to serve new functions, new purposes, and stuff like that. And then ultimately, I think a good story out of this could be that the 2 or the 4, whatever you have, programmers eventually just have disagreements about what they should be doing to the Carerobos and everything like that, and then just have them start programming them to mess with each other and eventually turn into a whole like war and everything like that. Because as you'll see here next, there was like a war, but not really. So back to the facts, and this isn't a fact, but I want to mention this real quick. This next paragraph feels more like it was something that happened in the community itself when they tried to find a way to add it to the lore and everything like that. So maybe that's the case, maybe it's not the case, but I digress. So formerly the Carerobos were split into 2 factions. This happened because of some person and they opposed certain laws that banned hats from being worn. Yeah, I'm not making that up. So these 2 factions were the originals and the rebels. This rebel leader basically was like, hey, I oppose hats. We want to be able to wear hats. So they ended up arguing and everything like that. Countless arguments started breaking out and everything like that. Whenever both sides met up, there was arguments and everything else like that. Some of the originals and the rebels eventually befriended each other, and the leaders were still at their own war and everything like that. They were still fighting each other. So eventually this whole like disagreement war thing ended up ending when the leaders met, came to terms of agreement, and just kind of agreed for a truce from there on. This happened around Christmas. I don't know how relevant that is, but they said that it happened just before Christmas. So this truce was formed and the parties merged back together, and peace has been there ever since, according to their message here. This is what I'm talking about when I say that there's not a lot of lore about this. I think this can be turned into the lore, that you can use this like event that actually happened in real life, or maybe not actually happened. I don't actually know if it really happened in real life, but you can use this as a way to turn this into more lore by just saying that there was one programmer or multiple programmers out of the programmers that were reprogramming the Carerobos had a disagreement about what they should be, you know, used for and how they should be programmed and everything like that, or the ethical nature of programming these creatures and everything like that. You know, maybe there could have been something like that. Maybe not necessarily a disagreement on whether or not they should be wearing hats, but I digress. There should be something more to this, but there's just not. So other than this, they gave a couple of facts and stuff like that, including when they were created. They were created as early as November 8th. They didn't give a year, so I assume 2019 of November 8th. So their diets range from carerobo to carerobo. So some of them will eat flowers, some of them consume nuclear energy, some of them even get energy from the moon as fuel. I don't know how they get energy from the moon, but they do. I assume it's something along the lines of like how solar panels work, but they're like moon panels instead. I don't know. They didn't say, they just said they get moon fuel. Moon fuel. I don't know how that works, but other than that, that was really the only thing about their diet. They said that they're not built for fighting or patrolling, which I think could be changed if you went with the whole like programmer versus programmer thing. Like maybe some of them are like they have to be able to defend themselves and everything like that, and then the other one disagrees or something, so you program them to fight each other, but not all of them are programmed to fight each other and stuff like that. You know, that's something that could be fun, but I digress. So they're not built for fighting or patrolling, so if you see them patrolling, you're not normally going to see that, but if you do see them, their patrol is just normally going to fall apart anyway. So the Carerobos, they're seen in small bunches. You almost never see one by itself. Yeah, just a regular basis, you'll see multiple of them at a time, but when there's certain events or meetings, etc., then they're going to become a lot more noticeable because there's going to be a lot more there. So other than that, their faces are screens and everything like that, and yeah, here's an image of what one looks like. That's definitely a screen for a face. Overall, I love the design of the Kirobo. Everything from the antennas to the face that's on the actual screen itself. The actual mark itself seems to make sense too. I don't even understand how that they managed to get that right. It's so weird. It's like the power symbol, but it fits so perfect. I don't know why I love that so much, but I do. The tail seems right. The ears seems right. Everything about this species seems right. And whenever I look at it, I'm immediately like, that is definitely something. And then I will look at it further, see the name, and be like, yep, that's definitely something that's part of this species. Let me investigate further. And then I can be introduced to the species simply by seeing one. So I think they nailed the design of how these are supposed to look and everything like that. They come in different colors and stuff like that, so there's a lot of ways to kind of tweak it and everything like that. I personally love it. Just so much about it I just love. There's not much to say about, you know, tweaking certain things about the design or anything like that. I think they nailed the design because, like I said, when I see it from a distance or when I see one, I'm immediately like, that's definitely part of something. And that's funny because this actually happened to me when I originally saw these a while ago. I saw them and I was like, that looks like it's part of something, and I scrolled over to it, clicked it, and saw that it was a carerobo, and I was like, yep, careerobos must be a species or something. I might look into that later, and then I never did until now, I guess. But the careerobos, I love them. There's a lot of potential with the lore and everything like that. I know I say that every single in-depth species video, but it's kind of true, especially with the careerobos, especially if you do the whole programmer versus programmer kind of story thing and everything like that. I think there's a lot that you can do to expand this lore because there's really not much lore. There's literally 2 paragraphs of quote-unquote lore, and the second paragraph is literally seems to just be recounting something that happened within the community itself, not something that happened in universe. So I don't know if that can be considered canon or not, but I digress. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.